Now, the gut is called the second brain because there are more neurons lining the gut walls than there are neurons in the brain. The gut actually allows you to experience more than the brain does. So your emotions are stored in the gut. Your memories are stored in the gut. Your serotonin and happiness hormone is created in the gut. If your gut doesn't function well, if the unhealthy bacteria are greater number than the healthy bacteria, they will drive negative moods like anxiety, stress, depression.
Meet Dimple Jangda, a wellness coach and the modern voice of Ayurveda. She's on a mission to help people heal their gut, mind and emotions, not with quick fixes, but with deep lasting changes.
Now, a child that's born through a C-section does not get exposed to that kind of bacteria that a child through normal delivery got exposed to. So they have a weaker gut. So you need to pay very close attention to their diet, colon health, and the science of food combined. Grapes kha liya, uske upar doodh pee liya, it can lead to instant poisoning in the child's stomach. Like it can lead to an instant death in infants.
Should children be given fruit juices?
No, fruit juice is like liquid sugar. It's equal to 1 glass of whiskey.
A lot of autoimmune diseases are now happening among women especially. Why do you think that is happening?
Women are more prone to autoimmune disorders than men because...
कभी सोचा है जब एक मदर पूरी तरह से थक जाती है इमोशनली, फिजिकली, तो उसका असर सिर्फ उसी तक ही नहीं पूरी फैमिली तक जाता है? What if the real healing didn't start with the medicine but with the gut, the emotions and the mother's own well-being? Welcome to another episode of Maatehood with Priyanka Raina. आज हम बात करेंगे true healing की for moms, babies and the entire family. Joining us is the incredible Dimple Jangda, a globally known Ayurveda and gut health coach, best-selling author and the founder of Prana Academy. She's helped thousands of families heal through ancient wisdom and simple, powerful tools. From digestion to emotions, hormones to baby skincare. Yes, even skincare. This episode is packed with insights every parent needs. Welcome, Dimple. Welcome to Maatehood. Such a pleasure having you here today.
Yeah, lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We've been having a little bit of conversation about our health and how mindful and conscious we should be when it comes to your self-care and also baby's care. But I'm really curious to know what inspired you to start with, to talk about gut health and Ayurveda.
I think it was more problem solving. Mm-hmm. And every time we kept encountering a problem, we tried to solve it with some research and information that led to us to the next problem and the next problem and the next problem. So literally how it all started was 8-9 years ago, I decided I wanted to get into healthcare, but preventive healthcare, where it teaches you how to preserve your health rather than waiting to get sick, not just disease care, right? So it was a very broad umbrella. My project was called the Happiness Project, how to make people happy with yoga and Ayurveda and naturopathy and homeopathy. It was an entire bandwidth of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we decided 6 months later, with my uncle's mentorship, he said, pick one to begin with and test the market, do a trial and error. You lose money, you lose the business, doesn't matter. No fear. Do it as a CSR. So we narrowed it down to Ayurveda. And then we said, okay, let's pick up Ayurveda. I found a mentor in Vaidyaratnam in Thrissur, Kerala, who taught me the ropes of the trade. They were very kind to help me set it up, get all the equipment, help me understand the name of the medicines because it's so complicated.
Yes.
Right? Learning how to pronounce them is a different ballgame altogether. Right? So it started with setting up an Ayurvedic clinic. And then in the clinic, I noticed that, patients were asking a lot of questions and they needed answers, not just a solution. They needed an explanation on why they have this problem and why does the solution work.
True.
A logical explanation. So I started doing research. And then I found a lot of information from most of these leading institutes like Harvard, Stanford on gut health, colon health being the root cause of 90% of the diseases. I was like, instead of us catering to all kinds of diseases, how about we cater to all the diseases that comes from gut and colon, which is technically 90% of the market.
Yes.
So we said, okay, let's start with that. So we can't really address a malaria or a dengue or a typhoid at the moment because it's an external stimuli, right?
Bilkul.
And then when we started doing gut and colon health, we started focusing more on Ayurvedic nutrition, which is personalized nutrition for every body type.
Yes.
That helps you preserve your digestion, your gut health, your metabolism, colon health. And it also helps you prevent the diseases that your body type is associated with. Your genetic markers are fixed at the time of being born. So it's called the Ayurvedic biological blueprint.
Okay.
Prakriti.
Very interesting.
Right?
Yes.
So your dosha, as people, say it in a slang manner. Prakriti means your unique body type.
Yes.
There are only 7 body types. And that is fixed at the time of being conceived. Okay, or at the time of being born.
Wow.
Usually it's at the time of being conceived, and your body type doesn't change in entire lifetime.
Amazing.
It's like your blood
I would love
group.
to know mine.
Yeah, right? It's like your blood group.
Yes.
It doesn't change. So what if you knew the model of your car? You'd know better how to care for it. You'd know what fuel to put in it.
Yeah.
You'll not put a petrol in a diesel car or vice versa. So once you know what your body type is, this biological blueprint also has an inclination towards certain kinds of diseases and symptoms. But if you have the right diet, you can prevent those diseases and symptoms in advance.
Oh, very
Right?
nice. Yeah.
Something as simple as, say, an ectomorph, Vata body type. They are those with the thinnest body type. They have thin, brittle bones, dry, rough skin, dry, rough, frizzy hair, dry colon. They have an inclination towards constipation and colon health issues, gas-related issues like bloating, indigestion.
Yeah.
They also tend to have dry, rough skin and dry, rough, frizzy hair.
Yes.
And they tend to get dehydrated very fast. They lose weight very fast. They struggle to put on weight. These people also have an inclination towards bone-related disorders like osteoporosis, arthritis, rheumatism, spondylosis because of the thinness and brittleness of their bones.
Yes.
So when they know in advance that they're inclined towards losing bone density, they're inclined towards constipation and colon health issues. They can change their diet to include a lot of good fats, a lot of calcium from sesame seeds, from broccoli, from plant-based sources
Yes.
to prevent and offset these conditions.
How
So
amazing.
it's like a personalized healthcare life science for
Yeah.
your body type, but also it has some predictions in advance that helps you circumnavigate those issues and live a long, healthy, happy life, which is the purpose.
I think it's such a beautiful thought and such an exciting project as well, which all of us need in our lives today, the Happiness Project.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear about this. And congratulations on
Thank
starting
you.
something like this. So, gut health ki jab baat aati hai, I think in last few years,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of awareness around that.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about gut health.
Yeah.
So is it just another buzzword? Or
Not
do
at
you
all.
think it really matters?
Not at all. I can tell you it's definitely here to stay. The consciousness for gut health, okay? आपके जो कुछ buzzwords या जो fad diets होते हैं जैसे keto diet हुआ या GMO diet हुआ, different kinds of diets have come and gone. अभी anti-inflammatory diet बहुत famous हो गया है. Everyone wants to reduce inflammation in the body, right?
Yes.
तो ये सारे जो diets होते हैं ये temporary होते हैं एक specific problem को solve करने के लिए, but it's not one size fits all. Like, keto diet works really well for someone who has an autoimmune disorder like lupus. But you can't apply the same dietary protocols for all body types who do not have that condition,
Okay.
right? So something of that sort can come and go. It has a lifespan.
True.
It has this growth phase and there's an excitement, there's a build-up, and then it'll mature and there'll be a saturation and people will get fed up of it, right? There was like also this paleo diet, okay, where people were just eating a lot of meat all the time, okay?
Yeah.
Vegan diet is not a fad so far. It has survived many, many years. Vegetarian and non-vegetarian. These are the, two main broad divisions of it, right?
True.
Gut health is basically consciousness and awareness that it's not just your stomach that digests food. There are several other organs that participate in the digestion, absorption and assimilation process. School में हमने क्या सीखा था कि मुंह में हम खाना चबाते हैं, फिर वो throat के through नीचे जाता है, esophagus से नीचे जाता है, then the stomach digests it. फिर उसके बाद intestine से colon है. हमको ये नहीं समझ आया कि ये सारी organs साथ में it becomes the most critical organs of our body. So the gut is basically where food passes after digestion. It's below the stomach. So it's your small intestine, large intestine, and colon.
Okay.
But some scientists say the gut includes everything from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small, large intestine, colon, liver, gallbladder, pancreas. Anything that contributes to the digestion process is part of the gut. So when you look at it, it's the largest set of organs. Okay. Now, in Western medicine, हमने एक isolated symptomatic approach लिया है.
Yes.
कि ठीक है, अगर आपको पेट में प्रॉब्लम है, you go to a gastroenterologist. आपको किडनी में प्रॉब्लम है, you go to a nephrologist. Okay, then you can go to a urologist.
Yes.
Okay, then you can go to different doctors, musculoskeletal health के लिए bone specialist के पास जा सकते हो आप. So you have a specialist for every organ. But even Western medicine has come to the conclusion that you cannot treat the body and the organs in isolation. कि हमने सिर्फ ये organ निकाल के इसको treat किया.
True.
लेकिन इसकी जो आप medicine दे रहे हो, उसका जो असर है वो दूसरे organs पे भी तो पड़ते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
It goes in the same blood and circulates to all the organs, not just to the
Yeah.
kidney, right?
Yeah.
It's not an isolated approach. So the holistic approach is to address the body at all levels, physical, mental, emotional also. Emotional stress भी होते हैं जिसकी वजह से आपके body में बीमारियां आ रही हैं.
True.
वहाँ पे Ayurveda plays a very powerful role. It's a holistic approach. They'll ask you about digestion, sleep, colon health, family history, blood pressure.
Yes.
They'll ask you a variety of questions before they arrive at the diagnosis. And here, people have also understood that the disease of the skin is not because the skin is unhealthy.
Yes.
It is because your digestion is not good, which is releasing toxins into the bloodstream, which has got deposited under the skin. So most doctors have understood that you need to change your diet, improve your lifestyle, and improve your gut health.
Yes.
Be it gynecological health, be it musculoskeletal health, skin disease, hair, gynecological health like PCOS, PCOD, of course, and even neurological health like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, anxiety, stress, depression. You have bronchial health also like cold, cough, sinus allergies. All of these are connected to poor gut health or colon health issues. So addressing that is the key when it comes to a holistic living, a healthy living.
I have experienced it myself. We were just talking about it. I think Ayurveda has been such an important and integral part of my life, be it my lifestyle, my consumption, my diet, and also the skincare I use. I've been such a follower of using everything natural. And I have experienced it during my young age, when I was younger, that how, all this toxic food, toxic products have really badly affected me. And when I made the switch to all natural Ayurvedic, cleaner diet, cleaner choices and cleaner lifestyle, it made a big difference. Huge difference, yes.
And it's your personal experience that speaks through your work and through your products and brand as well, right? Because you've experienced it. You don't want someone else to suffer.
And that was the reason for Maate as well. So I was just so adamant that no chemicals, no toxins for babies. And of course, that led to the birth of the brand.
Oh, nice. And I love the name, Maate.
Thank you.
Because we say it in a slang all the time, right? To each other saying, Maate, stop asking me questions.
We thought of a lot of names, but then the question was like, the brand should resonate with motherly care, as pure, transparent, and as nourishing.
How nice.
And that is why the brand name Maate was just like a complete replica of this. So we say that each product gives you nourishment and care just like mother's love.
See, you're enjoying the process as well, right? Educating other mothers on the mistakes they shouldn't be making.
Yes, but I'm going to dig deeper into skincare at a later stage. But when we talk about poor gut health, what are the reasons behind that? What causes this?
So there are a variety of things that could be causing you to have gut health issues. Now, gut health issues would be like something like, say, indigestion or constipation or diarrhea or IBS symptoms, which is becoming very common now, inflammatory bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel syndrome disorder, right? So it begins with colon health issues and then it starts translating into gut health issues. Like bloating, gas, flatulence, acidity, reflux, burning sensation. GERD has become common now.
So these are all the symptoms of poor gut health?
They're all various disorders of the gut. Right? Even one symptom means your gut is not working well. Okay, it is either inclined towards more fire or more air or more earth and water and elements like that, right? GERD, for example, is pitta dominant. Burning sensation, acidity, reflux. Your body is producing more hydrochloric acid than needed. Okay. And the pungent spicy foods you're eating is aggravating that condition. Like capsicum, onion, garlic, radish, for that GERD patient. And they need more cooling foods like cucumber, sabja seeds, which is called takmaria seeds. So, in लोगों को ज़्यादा ध्यान देनी पड़ती है that, okay, we've already reached the stage of symptomatic, disease condition. अगर इस स्टेज पे वो लोग अपनी सिम्टम्स को एड्रेस कर देते हैं एंड दे एड्रेस द गट हेल्थ, दे कैन प्रिवेंट फर्दर कॉम्प्लेक्स डिजीजेस इन द फ्यूचर. क्योंकि अगर वो ऑर्गन में परमानेंट डिसऑर्डर बन जाता है देन इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू रिवर्स इट बैक. पीपल हैव लाइक ग्रेड 2, ग्रेड 3 फैटी लिवर. उनको बहुत तकलीफ होती है एंड बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है रिवर्स करने में. अल्सरेटिव कोलाइटिस, एंड स्टमक अल्सर्स बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सेसिव GERD एंड द पैरासाइट बेसिकली starts causing deprivation of the mucus layer also, right? Then you will have to then take a best of allopathy and Ayurvedic medicines. You need very strong antibiotics to suppress the symptoms. So that's why I say smallest symptom you have, even if you're constipated for a day, change your diet immediately for that one day till you come back to a normal cycle. If you've had a symptom for more than 14 days, matlab wo chronic condition hai. Go to an Ayurvedic doctor, naturopathy doctor, figure out a personalized diet and lifestyle, change your lifestyle.
True.
If it has been in your body longer than that, then you'll need antibiotics and steroids and drugs. And then you'll be recovering from that, and you'll need another set of medicines to recover from that.
Better not to reach to that level.
Surgery is a last resort.
Yeah.
When all else fails, you end up in surgery where you remove the organ itself. Tonsils nikal dete aajkal, gallbladder, appendix, aajkal stomach bhi staple karne lage ye log.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully you don't have to end up with that chronic situation. Of course, modern medicine is powerful. It helps you save lives in an emergency.
Yes.
Right? There's a pandemic, or whether it's man-made, that's a different question. Then we also have fractures, accidents, heart attacks.
Yes.
That's a life-saving situation where you need to take acute measures to bring that person back to life.
Yes.
But wo insan wapas aane ke baad, he has to still change his diet and lifestyle so that he doesn't end up with a heart attack.
True.
The first thing the doctor will tell you is, you need to change your diet. Cut back on the fat. 100%. Cut back on the cholesterol.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the
first
basics.
things to look at. But when we talk about gut health, of course, physically it's connected.
Yeah.
But uska emotionally kya impact hota hai? Poor gut health.
Your gut has trillions of bacteria in it. And if I had to measure your gut microbiome, a healthy adult has 1 kilogram of bacteria, at least. It could be even 3 kilograms of bacteria.
Wow.
Right? Imagine that much amount of bacteria, trillions of bacteria living inside your gut. Now, these microbiomes help in digesting your food.
Yes.
They help in absorbing and assimilating the nutrients and making it edible form or absorbable form. They push it into the bloodstream. Right? Your gut microbiome has to stay inside your gut. They cannot leak into the bloodstream. If they leak into the bloodstream, they'll create havoc. Right? Your autoimmune system will start attacking the microbiome and the good nutrition also that's getting released. And there'll be an inflammatory condition because of the war, the battle that has happened between the autoimmune system and the bacteria. The bacteria should remain contained here. Now, the gut is called the second brain because there are more neurons lining the gut walls and there are neurons in the brain.
Yes.
The gut actually allows you to experience more than the brain does. So your emotions are stored in the gut. Your memories are stored in the gut. Your serotonin, happiness hormone is created in the gut.
Wow.
Your gut directly impacts your skin and hair. Your skin is a visual representation of your gut health. If your gut doesn't function well, if the gut microbiome are not balanced, if the unhealthy bacteria are greater number than the healthy bacteria, they will drive negative moods like anxiety, stress, depression. If the healthy bacteria are more in number, they'll drive happy moods and happy hormones like serotonin and dopamine. And they'll also create contentment, satiety, healthy cravings.
Yes.
The bad bacteria will drive your unhealthy cravings like junk food and Coke and Pepsi and whatnot.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right? So your gut microbiome are literally like the drivers sitting inside your system, dictating how you eat, how you react, what your moods are like, and how you respond to people. That's also determined by your gut health.
It's the core of everything.
Oh, yes. It's the center of your universe.
Are children also affected by poor gut health?
Absolutely.
Can the symptoms be seen as young as, 5 or 6?
Yeah. In fact, even earlier than that, So when a child is born, naturally, the mother releases a certain kind of bacteria through the colon.
Yes.
Which gets exposed to the child. Right? The child gets exposed to this kind of bacteria. That's the first set of bacteria the child receives to build its own gut flora.
Okay.
So everybody has a unique gut flora. No two human beings in the world are the same because of the diversity in their gut flora.
Wow.
No two human beings can ever be the same.
It's like your DNA.
It's like part of your genetic marker, right? It's so unique. Now, a child that's born through a C-section does not get exposed to that kind of bacteria that a child through normal delivery got exposed to. So they have a weaker gut. Okay? Slightly weaker gut. Now, a child that's
children who had natural birth, they have a stronger gut. And
stronger digestion also.
Okay. And if they're born via C-section, then likely to have weaker gut.
They have to work a little harder to get that gut microbiome, right? Now, the mother in the first feed releases a golden milk.
Okay.
That also has a specific bacteria that gets introduced into the child's gut, which helps the child digest the mother's milk. To digest the mother's milk also, you need a certain kind of bacteria.
Yes.
To digest dairy from cows, you need lactase, the bacteria to break down lactose.
Yeah.
Right? To digest wheat, you need a certain kind of bacteria. So when the child starts growing, depending on the kind of exposure the child received, the child has been exposed to, say, certain number of family members. There's a joint family. There are more people hugging and kissing the child all the time.
True.
They're constantly exchanging bacteria. That's why we say, don't kiss the child if you have a cold cough or a sore, cold sore, or you have any kind of a infection.
True.
When you're kissing the child, hugging the child, coddling the child, touching the child, you're exchanging bacteria. Yes. The child borrows bacteria from the mother, from the father, from the grandparents, and builds its gut microbiome.
Yeah.
Then the child becomes 1.5. The child is picking up things from the floor, putting it in the mouth. The child is picking up bacteria from the floor.
Yeah.
That's why we use a lot of disinfectants. That's mild but not chemical based. So because we know the child is going to put everything in the mouth. Some children have a habit of licking the floor. They lick the chalk piece or the stuff with which you write on the scribbling board. Yes. They have this habit of constantly putting everything in their mouth. They like to explore things using their mouth.
Yes.
Then they're playing in the sand. You take them to the beach, to the sand pit, to the swing, to the garden. They're playing with the mud. They're playing with the grass. They're getting more bacteria from the grass.
Yes.
So child's bacteria is determined by the way it was born. The child was born through C-section or normal delivery. The kind of exposure they had in terms of flora and fauna, where they're playing with animals or just stuffed animals.
Yes.
Like, you see a child playing with rabbits and dogs and cats, they have a different immunity. They fall sick less often, right? Obviously, you don't want to expose them to way too much parasites from the dogs and cats, right? But a child that's playing with mud and grass will also have a way much better immunity than a child that has never played with mud. Right? Now, we're living in this over-sanitized world, unfortunately, where we keep sanitizing our hands with alcohol, wipes, and, these hand washes.
It has become an obsession.
And it's become a bane of our gut health because we now don't have enough gut bacteria. And over-cleansing is like a crazy thing, sometimes because of OCD.
Yes.
Some people end up over-cleansing their system with constant detoxification.
Okay.
And then their gut becomes super weak. And also the kind of medication you give your child when the child was growing up. That also plays a role. Now, if the child was given way too much antibiotics and exposed to a lot of vaccines, the child's gut microbiome will be different. Antibiotics destroys the gut microbiome completely. The good and the bad cells, everything gets destroyed, the bacteria.
Just one-time usage?
It's a wipeout.
Oh my goodness.
Because you've developed a bacterial infection from something. Now, it is not possible for the doctors to narrow down which bacteria is causing that particular issue because there are trillions of bacteria. So they introduced antibiotics to kill all the good and bad bacteria and to start from fresh.
That's why there's always a supplement of
probiotics right after taking antibiotic course because you have no bacteria. You're not able to digest food. You notice that after an antibiotic course, the taste in your mouth becomes very dry.
Yes.
It's very weird. You have no craving for food. Your appetite is very weak. Your digestion is very sluggish. And you lack the moods and motivation to move forward. You're like, I'm just recovering from antibiotics. That's a standard dialogue we've had, right? I'm just recovering from the antibiotics, not from the sickness. So even doctors warn you that overuse of antibiotics is a danger to your good gut health, right? And you need to instead focus on letting the body heal itself. Like starve the fever, feed the cold. Have the herbs and spices that will boost your immunity so the body can fight the disease on its own.
Absolutely.
And when the body fights the disease, the body creates new kind of bacteria, which becomes part of your immune system then.
Yes.
So your immunity becomes stronger and stronger every time you get a cold or cough or a fever.
Yes.
Children fall sick a lot.
Yes.
Right? Compared to adults because, they're constantly exposed to new kinds of bacteria and the body is figuring out how to adapt to it. So obviously, falling sick is part of growing up, of a child's life. Don't be oversensitive and over-sanitize everything in the house and around the child. Let the child play in nature as much as possible.
Yeah.
Versus plastic toys.
True. How does overexposure to junk food affects their gut health?
You look at the kind of junk foods we're eating. Pizzas, burgers, French fries and all of that. There's a woman who kept a burger from KFC, I think, or McDonald's.
I was watching that video today only.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
She put it in a shoebox.
Yes.
Along with the purchase receipt, the burger and the French fries. And after almost 18 years when she opened it with the receipt, it was unaffected by mold or fungus or any kind of bacteria. Even mold, fungus and bacteria don't want to consume that burger and French fries because they think it's unfit for consumption.
But
that's what we're eating.
Unfortunately, kids are just so... they just love all that junk food and without realizing how badly it's affecting them.
In fact, it's not even their fault.
No.
The addiction that comes from those foods has been manipulated by that FMCG or that quick serve restaurant.
100%.
They have spent lakhs and crores of money to develop that addiction technology, to make that food addictive so that you can't just eat one. You'll come back for another and another serving.
Yeah.
Because your lifetime spending on that brand
Yes.
is your customer value for them.
Yeah.
The lifetime value, right? So we obviously need to feed our children at home in advance before taking them out, number one, so that they don't reach out for foods. And even if they reach out for foods, then it's only for taste. It's not to fill their system up. Simple trick, at least give them a bowl of khichdi before leaving the house, a bowl of porridge, stewed apples, 2 bananas. Give them something to eat, fill them up. Never leave the house empty stomach.
True.
Always make sure that they satiate it at home before they go out. At home itself, have
That's
a
a
lot
good
of
idea.
homemade desserts. Sattu ka laddu, til ka laddu, peanut chikki, rajgira chikki, homemade cakes with, sweet potato. You can make cakes with sweet potato. You can make cakes with millets nowadays.
Yes.
With lentils also, you can make breads and cakes.
Yeah.
Feed them so much at home that they satiate it.
Yes.
And they don't have deficiency that makes them reach out for this junk.
Yeah.
That's one. And 2, education. Sit with them and have a conversation. Explain to them what happens when this sits in your gut for so many hours.
True.
If it can survive on the shelf for 6 months, it can survive in your gut also for 6 months.
100%. Is there any way children जो बहुत regularly junk food consume कर रहे हैं, क्या ऐसा कोई super food है जो उसको balance करने के लिए हम घर में बच्चों को दे सकते हैं?
बहुत सारे हैं. आपका सत्तू का लड्डू, it's basically चना पाउडर. उसमें आपने घी डाला, थोड़ा बहुत ऑर्गेनिक चीनी डाला या जैगरी डाला आपने.
हाँ.
सत्तू का लड्डू आपका फेवरेट डिजर्ट है, गो टू डिजर्ट. आप रोज एक सत्तू का लड्डू अपने बच्चों को दे सकते हो. हड्डियां मजबूत होती है उससे. इट्स अ गुड सोर्स ऑफ प्रोटीन ऑल्सो. फिर आप होममेड स्नैक्स बना सकते हो. अपना चिवड़ा है, अपना मखाना है, इंस्टेड ऑफ पॉपकॉर्न ऑल द टाइम. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव देम पॉपकॉर्न, घर पे बना हुआ पॉपकॉर्न. उसी में आप फ्लेवर है ना, एंड उसी में कितनी फ्लेवर्स डाल सकते हो आप. घर पे बना कैरमल फ्लेवर डाल दो, थोड़ी सी चीनी डाल दो कभी कभार, जस्ट टू मेक देम हैप्पी, बट यू डोंट वांट टू ओवर एक्सपोज देम टू शुगर. एंड यू कैन पुट लिटिल चीज फ्लेवर एट होम व्हिच दे लाइक. द आइडिया इज टू सेशिएट देम विद स्नैक्स एट होम एंड मेक इट लुक लाइक दे जंकिंग एट होम. उनको पिज्जा अच्छा लगता है, क्या पिज्जा का बेस मिलेट से बना सकते हो. जवारी बेस, बाजरा बेस, रागी बेस. फिर खूब सारे वेजिटेबल्स डाल के उसको डेकोरेट करो. मेक इट लाइक अ artwork, visually attractive. Let them play with their food. That's also very important.
Yes.
Don't impose the fork and spoon system on your children at a young age. Children are meant to eat their food with their hands.
Yeah.
They should keep touching it, feeling it. Don't keep wiping their mouth. It discourages them. Let them make a mess out of their clothes, out of the table, out of their hands. The more children play with their food, the more they think it's an enjoyable part of their life. Then they don't associate it with pressure or some kind of a negative stimuli. Mummy aage khana leke, now she's going to torture me, jabardasti she'll keep stuffing my mouth.
True.
Let them associate it with something good. And definitely no technology around them, especially when they're eating. I see a lot of parents make that mistake. They put this cocoa melon, I think. Good Lord. I read the research on it that they actually use the same colors that an ambulance light uses to stimulate a child's brain and cause addiction in the child's brain towards that particular channel.
Unfortunately, we're just exposed to so many things around us that parenting has become so hard.
Yeah.
It has become very challenging because there's just too many no-nos and very few yes now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's constantly you have to tell children, don't do this, don't do that, don't do, because they just have access to so many things now.
Yeah. And they're also not exposed just to your parenting. Remember, they're exposed to the parenting of all their friends.
Yes.
Every time they go out to their friends, they learn something new and come back home and then they challenge you.
Yes.
That meri friend to ye kha rahi hai, meri friend to wo kha rahi hai. And then, you get challenged as a mother.
And it's too challenging.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In children, from very young age, you also see that children are getting obese and diabetes का issue हो रहा है, digestion issues हो रहे हैं, skin issues बहुत बढ़ रहे हैं. Children are having psoriasis and eczema. ये सब issues are there. So, what could be causing it? And how do you think that parents should actually approach this? Is there anything they can include in their diet? Any superfoods which should be a part of their day-to-day routine?
Yeah. एक तो चीज़ है psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, urticaria. Skin diseases जो होते हैं. Eczema बहुत common हो गया है बच्चों में. Okay? Eczema क्या है? There is a toxic waste under your skin. वो कहाँ से आया? It has come from undigested food in the gut. The digestion is weak, number one. Number two, it could be a leaky gut syndrome, क्योंकि वो leak हो रहा है toxin वहाँ से. wrong combinations of foods is one of the main causes of skin diseases according to Ayurveda. It's called विरुद्धाहार. आप बच्चों को fruit milkshake अगर दे रहे हो बार-बार तो उससे skin allergies बहुत जल्दी होते हैं.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fruit and milk is a forbidden combination. You know, fruit has a lot of fruit acids in it, like, you know, malic acid, fumaric acid, citric acid. It also has ascorbic acid, vitamin C, a lot of it, right?
And it's
Most of
very
the
common for parents or mothers to simply say कि कुछ नहीं खाए तो चलो mango shake पी लो, banana shake पी लो.
Worst
Because
thing.
it's like milk और fruit दोनों का combination एक साथ.
हाँ, जल्दी से पी लिया because वो दूध मीठा हो गया अभी.
हाँ.
Now, mango and avocado are the only two fruits that can be mixed with milk, as per Ayurveda.
Okay.
Sweet, slippery, slimy fruits can be mixed with milk, okay?
How about banana?
Banana is very slippery. When mixed with milk, it creates more mucus in the body and aggravates cold, cough, sinus, and kapha imbalance in a child.
Okay.
So, banana should never be put into a smoothie. Even if you're trying to gain weight, eat a banana and drink a glass of milk. Let the banana digest with the saliva in your mouth. When you chew a banana, the saliva changes the chemical composition of the banana before it goes into the stomach. Give the banana an exclusive time with your stomach hydrochloric acid so that it can digest it better.
Okay.
Okay? But milk creates a lot of mucus by default because it's cooling food. Banana creates a lot of mucus. You're putting two things that creates a lot of mucus together and giving it to your child. And then you wonder why your child has cold, cough, sinus, and weak immunity.
True.
This is the reason why.
How about strawberry shake?
A
One of their
big
favorites.
A big no-no, you know. It seems very enticing because strawberry, the color pink, makes the milk pink. And people think, oh, okay, it's a unicorn color. Let me feed the child.
Sweet also.
It sounds sweet.
Yeah.
But strawberry reacts very, very quickly with milk for the same reason. Like lemon with milk is not good, you know, because lemon has ascorbic acid and vitamin C, obviously. Yeah. And milk has casein. It causes the milk, the animal protein, to curdle, to break, to ferment. So when you have strawberry milkshake, it looks delicious. It tastes great on your tongue. But when you digest it, it starts fermenting in your gut.
Okay.
And that fermentation process can erode your gut walls. The mucus that is lining the gut walls is a protective layer. वो erosion होने लगता है उसका. And it starts leaking from the gut into the bloodstream because the holes in the gut have become big.
Yes.
The smaller holes allowed the nutrition to pass through, but now the holes have become big. And even the undigested food and the metabolic waste from the wrong combinations of foods you're eating is getting leaked. Your bacteria is getting leaked into your blood. Now, your immune system doesn't know the difference between nutrients and the unhealthy toxins that have got released. It starts attacking everything. तो आपको nutrition भी नहीं मिला. ऊपर से you've got inflammation from that immune system attacking your blood.
Yeah.
Attacking all those toxins.
Yes.
Now, the toxins get deposited under the skin because the body is desperate to get rid of the toxins, right? And the toxins are too big. They don't come out through the pores in the form of sweat. They just sit there under the skin. And then you have a little bit of heat exposure. You eat a little bit of a trigger food like capsicum, onion, garlic, which increases your body heat. The eczema starts getting triggered. So the trick here is, number one, stop giving them wrong combinations of foods. Number two, focus on their colon health. Are they eliminating toxins on a daily basis? Look at the color of waste that's coming out of them. After your child goes to the bathroom, you know, spend a few seconds to look at the color of the stools.
True.
Brown color is normal. It's the waste coming out from the liver, from the lungs, cellular waste. If it's black, it's a liver detoxifying. Liver में कोई fungal infection या कुछ ऐसा हुआ होगा.
Okay.
You know, some kind of toxic waste or mold toxicity has got stuck, right? Then dark green is from the gallbladder, light green is from the kidney, and then you have orange color between the joints. You know, it's also a sign of IBS, IBD. Red color could be, you know, some kind of a hemorrhoids or colon fissures, internal bleeding, or carrot and beetroot juice has been given in excess, right? You need to trace back to what food the child ate the previous day and the many days before that.
Yes.
Looking at the color of the stools, that also gives you a lot of information about what kind of a diet to prepare for the child next.
Okay.
So you need to pay very close attention to their diet, colon health, and the science of food combining. What combinations of foods are they eating? Like, you know, grapes खा लिया, उसके ऊपर दूध पी लिया उसने. It can lead to instant poisoning in the child's stomach. Like, it can lead to an instant death in infants.
Oh my goodness.
It's that poisonous. And I remember one of my therapists, you know, she left the baby outside and went in for the treatment. And I come to the clinic and I see the child eating a bowl of grapes. And I was like, who gave her grapes? You know, she's still on her mother's milk. We immediately took it away, but the damage was done. She had a few grapes already. That night, she cried and howled and cried from tummy cramps.
Yeah.
And the mother's like, oh my God, now I know where I went wrong. You think you're entertaining the child, you know, by giving a few grapes. Yeah. But it can be dangerous.
And we just think that the milk is digested. So now we can move on to some fruits and veggies and the combinations.
Sometimes we just assume things, you know. We're not paying attention to the science.
True.
Like even deworming. That's another very critical thing for children, right? Deworm them from time to time. Back in the day, they used to give castor oil. हर 6 महीने बच्चों को castor oil देते थे, and they used to cause diarrhea to see all the infection come out. Deworming Ayurveda में होता है. Crimigna vatica gulika करके एक medicine है. वो देने से बच्चे के पेट में जो unhealthy parasites and worms है, वो निकल जाते हैं.
Okay.
We give it for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Modern medicine also has deworming.
Yes.
Right? So these are ways in which we can maintain a child's health, because वो लोग ना ज़्यादा expose होते हैं बैक्टीरिया से.
Yes.
मिट्टी से खेलते हैं, वो पसीना छूटता है, दूसरे बच्चों को हक करते हैं, टच करते हैं, and दूसरे बच्चों को सर्दी है, खांसी है, they're constantly exposed to bacteria. We as adults are more conscious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Tell me about the gut-loving foods.
Gut-loving foods, right? And for children or for everyone?
For children first.
For children, okay. Gut-loving foods would be your nuts and seeds. Obviously, seeds नहीं देते हम बच्चों को, nuts देते हैं. आप उनको 5 बादाम दे सकते हो.
Okay.
खजूर दे सकते हो. Always soaked and peeled. It releases a phytic acid. खजूर दे सकते हो आप उनको. अगर उनको constipation हो तो आप एक prune दे सकते हो. किशमिश दे सकते हो. Raisins, it has a lot of good bacteria in it, by the way. Right? You can give them fresh fruits or stewed fruits. Stewed apple होता है, छिलका निकाल के उसको उबाला, उसको smash करके दिया बच्चों को.
Yes.
Then you have fresh fruits, you have oranges, mangoes. Let them chew on it using their fingers. So, gut healthy foods for children are these basic foods. साल में एक बार हम उनको नीम की गोली भी देते हैं. Okay, it helps in cleaning up the gut, prevents measles and chicken pox usually. Back in the day we used to do this to boost immunity against the summer diseases. बच्चों को घी ज़्यादा दिया करो. उसमें भी बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छे microbes होते हैं.
There's a debate about ghee as well.
Yeah.
कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि ज़्यादा घी consumption से fatty liver हो सकता है बच्चों में.
There, again, they have to understand that ghee is not the only ingredient the child has had. You're giving the child a lot of fruit juices.
Yes.
Smoothies, milkshakes.
True.
That's pure sugar that they're drinking. A glass of sugar. That is the reason why they're getting fatty liver. Ghee, in fact, is an antidote for fatty liver because it helps in lubricating the GI tract, the intestines, the colon, and the liver, allowing smooth movement of the waste out of the body.
Yeah.
It helps in releasing the fat. In fact, you're tricking your body to burn fat first because ghee is good fat. It has butyric acid, right? You're tricking your body to burn fat as the first source of energy.
Yeah.
So it actually reverses. Depends on how much you're having. You can have 3 to 5 teaspoons of ghee safely and easily for children. It'll improve their colon health also.
Okay.
And च्यवनप्राश हुआ, ये भी एक superfood है. आप कितना च्यवनप्राश देते हो वो आपके ऊपर है. You want to give 1/4 teaspoon because it's a little warm and heaty. उसमें अश्वगंधा है, उसमें cinnamon, cardamom, clove है, ginger है, pepper, star anise. तुलसी is a superfood for kids. उनको सर्दी खांसी बुखार है तो तुलसी का काढ़ा बना दो.
बिल्कुल.
है ना? उसमें थोड़ा सा दालचीनी डाल दिया. Honey is one of the best foods for children. Like I am a huge advocate of honey for children, not for adults. We don't need it because there's limited amount of good quality honey in the world, right?
Yes.
Save it for the children's. बच्चों को 1 चम्मच हनी दिया करो रोज, उनकी इम्यूनिटी बढ़ती है. हनी dissolves mucus in the body और बच्चों में mucus ज़्यादा होता है.
Yes.
So the mucus gets dissolved and the breeding ground for, cold, cough, sinus and all of these health issues goes down. 1 चम्मच honey.
And the combination of ginger and honey?
One of the best. I love that combination. So honey is antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. Ginger is anti-inflammatory. Again, it's antibacterial, antimicrobial. फिर आप अगर उसमें 1 चुटकी भर स्टार एनिस का पाउडर डाल दियो, it's antifungal. फंगल इन्फेक्शन कम करता है बॉडी में. आप 1 चुटकी भर सिनेमन पाउडर डालते हो. दैट्स फॉर अडल्ट्स, नॉट फॉर चिल्ड्रन. उससे मोटापा कम होता है. फैटी लिवर का अगर आपको डर है, डायबिटीज टाइप 2 के लिए सिनेमन इज ग्रेट. अगर आपके बच्चों को शुगर स्पाइक्स हो रहे हैं, दे हैड टू मच शुगरी फूड्स, 1 चुटकी भर सिनेमन पाउडर उनके पानी में डाल दो. Yeah, put it in their foods or their soups. Immediately it controls the sugar spike. It is one of the best antidotes for diabetes type 2.
Yeah.
Even type 1 can have it, but type 2 में आपको जल्दी results भी दिखेंगे.
Should children be given fruit juices?
No, I learned this recently because even I used to be a lover of fruit juices.
Yes.
At least an orange juice during the summers or a lemonade or something. But, I've been speaking to a lot of industry experts and they tell me that fruit juice is like liquid sugar. It's equal to 1 glass of whiskey. It has the same effect on the liver that alcohol has. It hits your liver, it dehydrates your system because, all that sugar rush, right?
Yes.
And your gut bacteria starts feeding on that sugar and they become stronger, the unhealthy bacteria. So you don't want to give your system sucrose and fructose in the liquid form without the fiber of the fruit. it's better to let your children chew fruits. Fruit juice हम तब देते हैं जब कोई बंदा dehydrated है, very weak and emaciated, hospitalized on the bed. Then we give them fruit juice to immediately get their energy levels up.
So Dimple, there's another concept which I have read about called Ojas.
Yeah.
What does that mean when it comes to your baby's health, and how can we protect it in first few years of their lives?
So Ojas basically means the essence of life. Okay. So there are 7 tissues in our body. The first tissue is your plasma.
Yeah.
And then you have the blood. Okay, the plasma is part of the blood. The purified part of blood then becomes muscles. Then you have adipose, which is the good fats in your body.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you also have the bone marrow, which also constitutes the teeth and the nails.
Wow.
Then, you also have the central nervous system, which is part of the bone marrow, in the same dhatu. And the last one is the sperm and the egg. So there are 7 layers of tissues in your body.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you eat food, the digestive food gets transformed into juices. The purified part of the juices becomes part of your plasma. The purified part of plasma becomes the blood. The purified part of blood then transfers and, transforms into muscles.
Yeah.
And the byproduct of that is skin. Okay. And then you have the purified part of the muscle transforming into adipose and bone marrow and sperm and egg, so on. When all the 7 tissues are formed really well in the body,
Yes.
then it transfers into Ojas, which is the bonus tissue. Ojas is basically the essence of life. It basically brings sweetness in your relationships, in your life. It brings you serotonin and dopamine. It brings you a lot of happiness, contentment, purpose in life. That happens when you're in a healthy body. So Ojas basically means when your body is healthy,
Yeah.
it has the joy and the excitement of life.
How beautiful.
That's Ojas.
How amazing. So how can we ensure that all of us have this amazing Ojas in us? Because I think it is a very essential part of our lives.
Yeah. So, the thing about Ojas is you cannot eat one particular food to build
Yes.
Ojas in your body. You have to eat all kinds of fresh fruits and vegetables, legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds. You have to have that whole food plant-based diet. The entire diverse range of ingredients on your plate.
True.
You need to digest, absorb, and assimilate the nutrients.
Yeah.
And you need to focus on your Jataragni, you need to focus on your digestive fire, you need to focus on, removing all the trigger foods in your diet, which is your packaged processed foods, your junk foods, dead foods. All of these weaken the Ojas.
Yeah.
They take away from you rather than giving to you.
Yeah.
They, instead of adding value to your life and to your health, weaken your immune system and make you work harder. So you want to stay away from all the inflammatory foods, if I have to say it in modern language. आप ये सारी चीज़ों को avoid करेंगे, packaged processed foods, junk foods. अपने आप Ojas बढ़ने लगेगा body में. Then start increasing your intake of farm fresh foods, organic foods. Ojas और बढ़ेगा. So Ojas is something that keeps growing. So visualize diya. The diya, the wooden, the clay pot in which you make the diya.
Yeah.
That vessel is the human body. Okay. And you have the Ojas, which is the ghee. And then you have the prana, which is the diya, the light.
Wow.
Right? So ghee in there adds value to your life.
Every time I have a chat on Ayurveda, I'm just so amazed that how deep, how meaningful, and how even technical it is. And there are things which we do not think about on a day-to-day basis. And even with, other medical systems, when we are going to doctors or visiting any experts, these are the things we do not really think and talk about.
Yeah.
The amount of detailing which is there in Ayurvedic science, that's just amazing.
Ayurveda is like nature-based, right?
Yeah.
It takes you back to nature. It appeals to your intuitive intelligence. It appeals to your logic. It appeals to your emotional, reasoning as well, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty about Ayurveda. It takes you back to the basics.
True.
And there's no end to how much you can learn in it. I'm still a student for life.
So, Dimple, I was watching your content and you also raise a lot of awareness around what you put on your baby's skin.
Yeah.
So, the skincare you use for your children.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are the things that parents should avoid and say complete no to and should never be used on children's skin?
Any product that has ingredients that you can't pronounce is the number one red flag. Okay? Now, obviously, these ingredients are made in a laboratory using artificial ingredients or chemical ingredients, right? You want to use ingredients that are natural, that are from nature, that is farm to table again, like how your food is farm to table.
Yes.
Your ingredients in your child's product also has to be from Mother Nature. Reason being, your skin is one of the largest breathing porous organ of your body. Everything that you apply on your skin gets absorbed in your bloodstream.
Yes.
Right? So with the children, especially, we need to be careful. At least we are adults, we do have a wide variety of choices when it comes to our skincare, our cosmetics as well. We have like plant-based cosmetics, plant-based skincare, which is like cruelty-free, not tested on animals, organic, there are no harmful preservatives in it. With children, you need to be 10 times, 100 times more careful. Okay.
Absolutely.
I remember growing up, my mother used to use everybody else. This is peer pressure that everybody's using and hence you must use it. But it would give me such a terrible skin rash.
Yeah.
And my mother kept saying that it's terrible. The product just doesn't suit her. There's something wrong with the product. She said this like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But people never believed, that there could be something wrong with such a huge MNC company that is, backed by the pharma and R&D.
Careful. Yeah.
And fast forward, to this 2025, you see the number of cases that have come forward of children who've developed cancer. Not children, full-grown adults who developed cancer after having used Johnson & Johnson's during their childhood for cumulative number of years. And it has also been proven that there were some products in it, ingredients in it that was hazardous to human health. It was carcinogenic, asbestos, which was used in it, right? Yeah. In fact, they've set aside a huge fund for legal disputes.
Yeah.
That itself is a sign that the brand cannot be trusted for children's health.
True.
Right?
True.
So I would choose a boutique brand that, in a way curates the ingredients in a very ethical manner.
Yes.
Fairness to the farmers, to the suppliers. When the brand is conscious, when the brand is into green sourcing, it is sustainable, it is conscious about the environment, the packaging is healthy and eco-friendly, then they care about you as well. And the ingredients would be much better. Look at the ingredients. 80-20 rule, 80% of the ingredients must be edible. Yeah. It should be a herb or a spice that you use in the kitchen. Yes. It could be like your moong dal or your masoor dal. It could be oats or rice that is a base in that particular product. It could be some essential oils that is used, to improve the usability of that product and the adaptability of the product. It could be other kind of herbs. So these are some easy ways. For children, the most basic thing that is available in the kitchen is your rice powder, rice water. Then you have your chickpea powder. If it's too dry and dehydrating, you can add moong powder, oats powder. These are the greatest ways to cleanse a child's body at home.
Absolutely. And we used to use all these Uptons in the olden times, right?
Uptons.
And we still do. I love all those homemade masks and Uptons. Of course, using them on children is sometimes a bit difficult. And that is the reason with Maate, we've been always very, very mindful of all the ingredients we use for children. And as you said, most of the ingredients are something you can relate with. You have heard about it and you have used it right from your kitchen. Yeah. And sometimes I get very, very disappointed when I see parents picking up products from shelves just because somebody recommended it without mindfully thinking what goes inside. Then they use it on their baby's skin. It's just so disappointing to see because they have to be so mindful. It's the most important person in the family and you have to be really sure of what you're putting on their skin. As you said, everything gets absorbed and everything, gets into their bloodstream. And I get very disappointed. So I know where you're coming from.
And in fact, the child is dependent on you to make the right decisions and choices. The child cannot pick up its bag and go shopping for its own products.
Absolutely.
So you need to be 10 times more confident about what you're applying on your child's skin.
Yeah.
And touch wood, we do have a lot of ancient wisdom. True. All the tel malish that is done at home with ghee and almond oil to strengthen the bones, sesame oil. Yeah. These are things you can still do at home,
And when you hear about these, you feel so content. You're so happy. This is something I'm using on my baby's skin. This is just so pure and at the same time also very efficacious. Like in our shampoo, we use methi seeds and we use rose. So many rich ingredients and lavender in our body wash. So hearing those ingredients makes me feel like, okay, this is something good that I'm using on my children. Yeah. So Dimple, I was watching one of your reels where you spoke about 3 pillars to reset the family health. Yeah. So what does that mean? And where should the family begin if they want to adopt this?
Yeah. So, Ayurveda has 3 important pillars for good health. It's nutrition, sleep, and exercise. You need to focus on all the 3 pillars with equal importance. It's not one over the other. So when it comes to your family, the number one thing you need to do is fix everybody's sleeping patterns.
Yeah.
Make sure that all electronics are switched off at 9 o'clock. 9 to 10 is family time if you need to talk to each other or just start winding down. Pack your bags for tomorrow morning, your school bags and all of these. Prepare for the next morning. Get to bed.
Yeah.
You can read a book. You can spend time with your parents, reading some fairy tales if you like. Anything that's like conducive to your growth. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the time for deep REM sleep. That's when the body actively repairs, rejuvenates damaged tissues, muscles, and nerves. For children, it's even more important that you set their sleeping time earlier because unlike adults that require just 8 hours of sleep, children will need at least 10 hours of sleep. So make sure that they go to bed by 8 o'clock in the night.
Yeah.
8 is a deadline. If they sleep at 8 and then they wake up at 6, they have adequate energy to get to school, to focus on their studies. And nowadays schools start really early.
True.
And I see most of the kids waking up literally just 20 minutes before the school bus. They put on the uniform, take the bag and leave because they don't have an appetite. They end up like literally just drinking something. And the first meal comes at 10 o'clock at the first break, which is very sad. I tell parents, wake up your child a little earlier.
Yeah.
Make sure your child gets some movement. Give the child some warm water. Make sure the child has a warm porridge before leaving for school. Make sure the child is satiated. And in school, they can have some stewed fruits or some raw fruits. Put a fruit box for the 10 o'clock break.
Yes.
Right? Because they've had the breakfast and they have the fruit break. Then the 12 o'clock break, put some wraps. That's an easy way to get your protein, vegetables, and your carbs in one single wrap. You can put some hummus, you can put some dal, boiled in it, some veggies, some homemade dips, like a capsicum sauce or a tomato sauce or a, coriander mint sauce. You put your dips and you put some vegetable juice in the wrap as well. When you're making the wrap, you can put some beetroot juice or some carrot juice or some spinach juice after blanching it. So that's a great way to get the veggies in, the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals in and still make it fun for them. They don't mind holding a wrap and eating. Children love finger foods. True. They love foods that they can hold in their hand.
True.
And as soon as they come back from school at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, give them a garam nashta. Let them have poha or dal chawal or, some kind of an idli made from millets or some crepes made from moong or quinoa or ragi. That will help in improving the bone density also. You're getting the protein in. You're getting some chutney in. That will also stimulate the metabolic fire.
Yes.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, when they come back from play, they're hungry again. Give them a bowl of fruits. Then let them sit for the tuitions, finish the homework. And at around 6:30, 7 should be your dinner
time
with the family. So fix the nutrition.
Yes.
Fix the sleep.
Yes.
And make sure they get movement. Exercise is very important. Don't let them sit at home watching TV and playing video games all the time. It's artificial stimulation of their senses. You rather want natural stimulation. Let them play in the playground. If they get a little hurt here and there, a little bruises here and there, all that helps in building their immunity.
Yeah.
Their resilience, their strength, their muscle mass, and the more they use their muscle groups, the better their growth is.
It's essential.
Movement is very important. So these are the 3 pillars that Ayurveda talks about. Harvard talks about 6 pillars. It goes on to say that's more applicable for adults, the parents. Cut back on the social vices that you have.
Yes.
The negative vices like drinking, smoking, eating junk, watching excessive TV, scrolling on social media. Cut back on the vices.
Yeah.
And then reduce your stress levels. Your stress has a direct impact on how you digest your food. And also focus on building positive social connections. Go out in the society, socialize, make friends. Spend time playing board games or gardening. Any of these things helps in building your social health and reducing your stress levels. Okay. And it also gives you a sense of community and belonging. It's one of the most basic needs of human beings.
True.
A sense of belonging, that I belong to this community or to this society.
Yeah.
Right. I'm needed, I'm desired, I'm wanted, I'm loved. That's very important.
100%. I'm so glad you spoke about breakfast for children because that is one of my concerns as well.
Yeah.
Subah school se pehle, if kids don't eat anything and they leave for school, it's very concerning. How do you suggest we can handle this?
Okay, number 1 is make sure the colon health is fixed. Children who are constipated because they wake up and rush to school, they don't get time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they end up suppressing all their urges, to defecate or to urinate. Then that builds up and that affects their appetite.
Yes.
Okay, give them a glass of 100 ml of warm water with 1 teaspoon ghee in it or some plant-based butter in it, like almond milk or coconut milk with 1 teaspoon coconut oil or almond butter in it. Start the day with 1 teaspoon of good fat. Okay, and throughout the day also make sure that they have a lot of good fat in their diet, like 5 to 7 almonds. It gives you a lot of vitamin E and fat. Avocado, sweet potato, coconut oil, avocado oil in the cooking. Nuts and seeds like flax seeds, chia, sabja seeds, these will all help in hydrating and improving the fat content. Flax seeds also has a lot of omegas, right? So these are great ways to improve the fat consumption in the child's diet. Then if you find your child is constipated, you can start giving them some amount of green juices made from cilantro and parsley. Cilantro is your coriander. And parsley, both of them are very effective in removing heavy metals from the body like mercury, cadmium. Okay, when they remove heavy metals and flush out the colon clean, the child's appetite improves. And always give them a warm drink of something or a warm meal or a warm bowl of porridge before they leave for school, no matter what, even if it's just 5 teaspoons. Let's begin with 5 teaspoons, just before they board the bus, school bus. Then make it 7 teaspoons, then 8, then 10, then 15, slowly then make it like a full breakfast. The child will then himself and herself ask for a big breakfast. Like a warm breakfast, even if it's not very big. And make it fun. If the child doesn't want to have a porridge, you can make a dosa. They love dosas of all kinds. Right? You can make a dosa out of any ingredient. Any millet can be made into a dosa. Moong can be made into a dosa. Quinoa is a great source of protein and amino acids. Make a dosa out of it. Then you can also make a besan chilla if they like, and oats dosa if you want to give them oats. Dosa is a great way. You can give them steamed idlis. Again,
they love that.
The more fun we make it for them, the greater the chances of them putting it in their mouth. You want to make it look like they're experimenting. It's not the same food every day.
How about a glass of milk? That's usually a quick solution.
So for children, yes, milk is probably a good idea. You could probably add a handful of dry fruits in that milk, blend it and make it like a badam pista doodh, put some turmeric, a saffron string if you like. Giving them like a nut milkshake is a great idea. Okay, but if you've decided to raise your child as a vegan, as I see a lot of people doing that consciously, you can give your child a glass of almond milk or coconut milk, but again, a handful of dry fruits. You can put dates and prunes and make it like a chocolate milkshake. Blend it. Okay, you can put some almonds and pistachio or walnuts. Let the child choose what they want to put in the milk. Some raisins, you don't want to give your child seeds at that age. Seeds is usually not recommended for children. It's for adults, for hormonal imbalances and such. Milk is not a bad idea at all for children. And if you want to put a fruit in the milk, mango and avocado are the only 2 fruits that you can add.
Okay. Happy to know that. Now, moving on to the women's health. Mom's health. Postpartum is a very delicate phase. Whole body changes, your emotions changes, physically, emotionally, mentally, you're going through so much. But what happens to your gut health during your postpartum phase?
Oh, it takes a huge beating, because when the child starts growing inside your womb, the child pushes all your other organs. Leaving very little room for the other organs. So your stomach shrinks, your intestines are squashed, your liver and gallbladder is like squashed, your diaphragm is pushed up, which causes shallow breathing for a mother. Right? When the child is born, the organs have to come back into place. So in Ayurveda, we do a treatment called Abhyangam, full body massage, with a lot of pressure. Right? This helps in bringing the organs back in place. Now, in the first 40 days, while the mother is still bleeding, we do not do any of the Ayurvedic treatments. Okay? But in most traditional households, they have this custom of massaging the stomach repeatedly and wearing a tight belt to bring the organs back into place. That's the number one thing you need to do to improve your gut health. Number 2, you can start giving them warm spices like, ajwain ke laddu, soont ke laddu. This helps in releasing the water retention in the placenta that might be still inside the mother's system. Once that comes out, your gut microbiomes can be realigned, to improve your overall digestion postpartum. When your digestion is weak postpartum, when your Vata imbalance is very high, that Vata imbalance can lead to back pain, joint pain, and it can also lead to postpartum depression, anxiety, and stress because Vata is responsible for your mental faculties and your mental health.
I see.
Right? To bring your Vata down, there are a couple of herbs in the kitchen, spices in the kitchen. You have cumin seeds, fennel seeds, coriander seeds, cardamom, carom seeds. You can make a tea out of it. This will help in improving your digestion and reducing bloating, gas, flatulence that the mother might experience. Because your digestion is weak, you're constantly feeding your child, you have very little energy for yourself. Break your meal into smaller meals. Instead of having 3 big meals, maybe you can have 4 small meals.
True.
And you're waking up every few hours at night. You're going to feel emaciated. You're going to feel tired. You need to produce more milk. You can have shatavari. You can have a glass of milk for yourself. At bedtime. You can break it into 4 to 5 meals also. One meal when you wake up, which is just fruits and nuts. Then you have a warm porridge. Then you have a big lunch. Then you have an evening snack. Then again, you have a dinner. Right? So you have 5 meals throughout the day.
Yeah.
So don't feel guilty about eating food. There's no rush to lose weight and get back in your original shape. Be kind to yourself. You produce an entire human being.
Yeah.
You give birth to an entire human being, which is the size of a melon that came out of you, right?
Yes.
So that's equal to like 2.5 fractures apparently, or more. The pain of labor, I'm told, I obviously don't have personal experience in it, but give yourself credit.
True.
Don't be in a rush, and definitely build your social connections, rebuild it. You might have felt a little cut off from your friends and family and relatives because you were so busy feeding and caring for the child.
Yes.
A little me time is always a good thing for the mothers, because if you're in good moods, you're in good
100%.
health, you produce better milk for your child. You can also have shatavari that will help in improving your lactation. Lots of massages.
Yeah.
That's one of the best treats, I think, for mothers.
You also talk about the concept of uterus cleansing.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Very potent again in Ayurveda. It's called Basti treatments or Uttran Basti.
Okay.
Now, Uttran Basti is basically introducing medicine directly into the uterus through the vagina. But that's not done for everyone, because, some women might be a little more sensitive to that process.
Yes.
And it might be painful for them, right? The best way to do is introduce medicine into the colon. Okay. Now, Basti, there are 2 kinds of Basti. There's Matra Basti and there's Kara Basti. Okay. Niruva Basti and Kashaya Basti. So Matra Basti is basically introducing medicated oil into the colon, and that stays in the colon anywhere between 1 to 12 hours. The longer it stays, the more lubricated the system gets. Okay.
Yeah.
And when the mother has a natural urge to go to the bathroom, she releases oil with the waste. This is basically preparing for the enema, the lubrication part. So this happens for a few days, day 1, day 2, day 3, or whatever. Then we introduce 1 liter of medicine into the colon to flush out the waste. That's called Kada Basti, where you go to the washroom immediately.
Yes.
Right? So that is also very potent because it helps in pulling out the placenta. Remember, the child inside has pooped and urinated inside of you. There's a lot of bacteria that the child has left inside of you. So you want to cleanse that out of your system to rebuild your own immune system. A mother's immune system can also be a little weak.
True.
Postpartum. So you want to rebuild your immune system.
Yeah.
You want to get your organs back into place.
Yes.
You want to release all the water retention and placenta. You want to release the vata imbalance, which helped you push the baby out, but now it is causing anxiety or postpartum depression. Get the vata imbalance out with a lot of oil massages, because vata is air in space. Oil is greasy, which cancels the air in space.
Yeah.
So these are few ways a woman's postpartum health can be improved. And there's also this wonderful technique that people do at home, fumigation of the uterus.
Okay.
So, a woman generally has this pan with hot coal and they place roasted ajwain seeds on top of the coal. It's hot coal, and you place it under the bed or under your dress. Okay. So you don't wear any underwear, and you just sit and let the fumes enter the uterus. This helps in cleansing of the uterus.
Wow.
Right? It helps in removing
this process.
Oh, this is so effective. Lots of women do it at home. Okay. You can even get like a steamer. Put some roasted ajwain seeds into that steamer and use it to fumigate the uterus. It kills the unhealthy bacteria.
Amazing.
And rebuilds your vaginal flora, because you remember your vaginal flora is a separate microbiome world altogether. Your gut microbiome is separate. Your oral microbiome is separate. 100%. Right? And all 3 of them have their own universe of good and bad bacteria. So you want to rebuild the good bacteria and get rid of the bad bacteria.
Yeah. But this is effective even for, not really just for moms, but at any age, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, for fertility treatments also, you can do fumigation, you can do Uttran Basti, you can do Kara Basti, Matra Bastis. After having the child, 45 days later, once your bleeding has stopped, you can start all of these treatments immediately. It's also great for your spinal health. Yeah. It pulls your bones back into place, because remember, your waist has expanded to allow the baby to come out. So now you want to bring your hips and your bones and your waist back into place. Massages helps. Yeah. All that pressure helps in bringing the bones back into place.
True. I also see so many people these days talking about fermented foods. and preparing these nice probiotics at home. Tell me one secret recipe which moms can include in their diet, which is really effective and very good for, good probiotics in your body.
So, kimchi, it's a Korean culture, and, the Japs and the Chinese also have it. It's literally just taking some vegetables,
Yes.
adding some water, salt, and closing the lid,
Okay.
right? Lightly.
Yeah.
So the gases can be released. You let it sit for a day, for 2 days, 3 days, you decide. And when you think this is strong enough for me, the fermentation has to be stopped, you take it and put it in the refrigerator. You can even close the lid tightly and just open it once a day to release the gases that the bacteria is producing. So literally it's just salt, water, and vegetables. So you can make like kimchi out of carrots, you can make kimchi out of celery, you can make kimchi out of any finger vegetable that you like. Right? That's one. And second is kombucha. Obviously, you get it in the market. But even better in Indian culture is the chas.
Yes.
Right? The buttermilk. It has a lot of good microbes because you're making dahi through the fermentation process overnight, adding water, jeera, pink salt, and a tadka, with tempered ghee and spices. Or you can even make coconut buttermilk if you're a vegan, which is my favorite recipe.
Yeah.
It's just coconut milk made from desiccated coconut fresh. You store it in the fridge for 3 to 5 days if you want.
Yeah.
And you take this coconut milk, add some jeera, some pink salt, some pudina masala, some cilantro, some grated cucumber. It becomes this relaxing, cooling drink.
Wow.
It's good fat. It reduces your vata imbalance. It reduces your pitta imbalance. And it helps in rebuilding your skin and hair because postpartum women lose a lot of hair.
Absolutely.
Right? And you can also incorporate a lot of iron-rich foods and magnesium, calcium. Sesame seeds are excellent. It's called til.
Yes.
This is a great source of calcium. It has 7 to 8 times more calcium than milk. That will help in rebuilding the bones and the bone density for the mother. It will prevent osteoporosis post-pregnancy, right? Postpartum. You can have a lot of iron-rich foods, carrot, beetroot, spinach soup, celery soup, cilantro, curry leaves, moringa, spirulina. Moringa is one of the superfoods that women should have as often as possible, especially postpartum.
Yeah. Moringa just in water?
You can either put it in water, you can put it in your dal and sambar when you're cooking it. Moringa is like your drumstick, which we used to put it in our sambar.
Or you can have drumstick soup as well.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Even better. But
One of
remember
my
the drumstick?
favorites.
Yeah. Drumstick can be a little constipating.
Okay.
Because of the high iron content. And iron by default is constipating. Just make sure to add 1 teaspoon ghee or some plant-based butter to counteract the constipating effect of moringa.
Or if we add some veggies and some dal to it.
That'll also help.
Combination
Vegetables is a good source of fiber. It'll prevent the constipation. Dal, again, you get your protein in. If you can add a spoonful of rice, why not? On the side, you get your carbs also.
So there's a new shift finally in India, from K-beauty to A-beauty. I'm sure you've heard about this new trend now.
And what is A-beauty, if you could tell me?
Ayurveda.
I'm loving it. Okay. K-beauty was a Korean obsession that we all had. I'm glad we're moving back to our basics.
Absolutely. So tell me one secret weapon from Ayurveda, from the books of Ayurveda, with which you can achieve this glass skin.
Oh gosh. Coconut oil.
Yeah.
The more you massage your face with coconut oil, you're removing the debris, the dead skin, you're cleaning the pores. Okay. Once you've cleaned your face with coconut oil, I love aloe vera gel or rose water. They have an astringent quality. They help in tightening the pores. Okay. And the more face massages you do, the better your glass skin potential is.
Yes.
Kumkumadi Tailam. It's one of the most ancient skincare secrets of Ayurveda. It has saffron in it. It has series of other herbs in it. You can get Kumkumadi cream, Kumkumadi oil drops on your face. You can mix it with coconut oil. There are a lot of other essential oils like tea tree oil to reduce marks and scars so you get more even skin. You have the juice of white potato that you can apply on your face to reduce pigmentation marks and dark circles. You can also use tea bags. It has catechins and it helps in reducing, sorry, not catechins. It has polyphenols, which helps in reducing the dark circles.
Yes.
Right? Castor oil on your eyebrows and eyelashes will help in thickening it. Right? Beetroot juice.
Yeah.
Okay. For your lips. There are so many remedies in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Your multani mitti, your besan, dahi, haldi, and
they're
nimbu.
really effective.
Oh God. They remove a whole layer of dead skin cells.
Yeah. But usually you think that in Ayurveda they have a lot of oils and which are recommended. But for oily skin, do you think we can use coconut oil?
It actually helps in balancing the oil in your skin. If you have too much oil production, coconut oil will help in balancing it. When you apply coconut oil, just take a damp cloth or a white cloth, which is what I prefer, or even just a cotton pad and wipe your face after doing a coconut oil massage. It will balance the oils. The excess oil will get released.
Yes.
And only as much as the skin can absorb will stay back. Okay. And definitely wash your face before going to bed. You don't want to keep the oil on all night. Right? Because then you'll end up clogging your pores and attracting more dirt and microbes from your pillowcase and around, which will enter the skin. So you want to clean your face at night before going to bed. But if you're someone who has dry vata skin, who gets dehydrated very fast, you can keep it overnight as well. It's a great moisturizing cream. Amazing. In fact, eczema, the best antidote for it is coconut oil.
Yeah.
The skin loves coconut oil.
True. Tell me one Ayurvedic face mask which we can make at home and can bring instant glow to your skin.
So, you need a base, first of all. The base can be made from chickpea powder, which is called the besan.
Yeah.
If you find this very drying in nature, then you can use moong powder. Mung beans is very nourishing for the skin. You can even use masoor dal powder, or you can even use oat powder. Yeah. Or even better is rice powder, which they use in Japan and China for glassy white skin.
Sure.
So it gives that glass-like appearance, right? So rice powder is also great. So that's your base. Pick one base or pick all also. Who cares?
Sure.
The more the better.
Yeah.
And then you need a binding agent that can be either yogurt or coconut milk or raw cow's milk as well. Okay. If it's cruelty-free. Otherwise, you just want to stick to coconut milk. I love coconut milk because it's got good fat in it, right? Then you can add a lightening agent, which is either lemon juice or you can even add orange peel powder. You can just dehydrate orange peel at home, make a powder and store it in the fridge. It'll last an entire year, a bunch of oranges. Add some powder. Then you can also add a pinch of turmeric for the anti-inflammatory effect it has.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A lot of people will also add rose petal powder because it has a soft effect on the skin. Yeah. Right? This is a great way of cleansing your face. Apply it on your face, this mask with 4 ingredients, a base, a binding agent, a lightening agent, and an anti-inflammatory agent.
Wow.
Apply it on the face, wash it off after 15 to 30 minutes. In fact, this is a reminder for me to go back to it tomorrow morning. I definitely need to do this.
Yeah.
And follow with rose water, spray it all over your face. This will help in closing the pores. It's astringent in quality.
Amazing. I'm going to make it tomorrow as well. While you're telling me, it sounds like, wow, this is going to really change the entire, skin and texture I have.
Yeah, why not?
Nice
it's a gentle reminder to go back to your kitchen because your kitchen is your pharmacy.
True.
It has everything that you need for skincare, hair care, health care.
Absolutely. Coming to the hair care, I think one of the biggest concerns women have these days is hair thinning. Yeah. And even conditions like oily scalp and dry hair. That has become very common.
Yeah.
How can we treat this?
If you have oily scalp, you don't want to obviously put oil on your scalp already because, you're releasing a lot of oil. You can use a lot of hair mask instead, like methi. Okay, so you can soak methi seeds overnight, next morning, blend it and make a paste out of it, apply it on your scalp. This will help in treating the excess oil. It also helps in treating eczema and dandruff issues. Okay, if you have hair thinning, you can use onion juice. It has sulfur in it. It helps in stimulating new hair growth. Yeah. You can also use a combination of rosemary, castor, and coconut oil. This also helps in stimulating new hair growth. Rosemary is very potent when it comes to new hair. Castor helps in stimulating the heat under the hair follicles, opening up the clogged pores and allowing new hair growth. Coconut is again one of the best antidotes for the scalp. But if you're having chronic hair loss, during those days, you want to stay away from hair massages. You want to use a lot of hair mask instead. So you can use your base as either yogurt or coconut milk.
Sure.
Okay, you can crush a whole strawberry in it. It gives you shiny hair.
Wow.
Okay, you could put a whole banana in it and apply it on your scalp and then, rinse it off. It'll give you volume to your hair. You could add honey to it and some olive oil to it. It'll give you a nice, shiny, straight hair.
Yeah.
Right? So take a base and keep adding other ingredients on top. Aloe vera gel is great if you have psoriasis or dermatitis eczema because you want to cool down the scalp.
Yes.
That's also very potent. So these are some simple hair masks that you can try at home.
And they're natural, so you can use them very regularly as well.
As often as
without
possible.
fearing anything.
Yeah,
right?
because there's no abuse of it, right?
True.
And when it comes to nature, there's no limit on how much healthier you can get.
That is true. Talking about eczema and psoriasis and a lot of autoimmune diseases are now happening among women especially.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is happening, and how can we actually prevent it?
So, autoimmune disorders is usually your endocrine disruption, which is one of the root causes of many of the autoimmune disorders. You could be having thyroid, PCOS, PCOD, adrenal fatigue. Most of your autoimmune disorders are linked with your endocrine disruption, right? In yoga, we say these are the chakras where we block our emotions, right? Inability to express yourself blocks your thyroid hormone, your throat chakra. It leads to over or underproduction of the thyroid hormone, which can lead to hyper or hypothyroidism, Hashimoto and Graves, right? Then excessive stress can affect your adrenal glands, right? Grief can also affect it. Your uterus is also connected to a lot of emotions, and your liver is connected to pent-up anger and stuff like that. Ayurveda, yoga, chakra healing speaks about a holistic approach, reducing your stress.
Yes.
There is also something I recently came across where this gentleman said that women are more prone to autoimmune disorders than men because of the emotions they go through. They're constantly being denied something. They're constantly in a fight or flight mode.
True.
Right? Right from the time they're born, in many cultures, women are constantly fighting for their basic rights.
True.
That fight or flight response increases the cortisol levels and keeps them on the tenterhooks at all times.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why they have it, right? If we could reduce the cortisol, we could reduce the inflammation in their body. We could reduce their autoimmune responses.
Yes.
And prevent a lot of autoimmune disorders.
True. I think it has become one of the bigger concerns, and also you can see an impact of it on their skin. It's happening very regularly. There's another very common disease which I've been hearing about is lichen planus. I don't know if you've heard about it. Also one of the autoimmune disorders linked to your gut health and your emotional health.
Yeah. All skin issues, in fact, are linked to your gut health. Right? If your gut is not digesting the nutrients well, if it is leaking all the undigested food, heavy metals, toxins, unhealthy bacteria into the bloodstream, the skin is the first to get affected because the skin is a surface, right? And all the toxins surface towards the skin. They get accumulated. The accumulated toxins then transfers into various kinds of skin diseases. Second is, of course, emotions. If your emotions has a direct impact on your gut health. So say if you're angry and then you sit down to eat food, that food becomes tamasic and it becomes heaty in nature. It can cause burning sensation, acidity, and reflux. Yeah. Right? If you're not focused on foods, you're constantly distracted by television or social media, looking at the phone, staring at the screen, or watching YouTube videos while eating food, your body is not digesting that food because your brain is unable to communicate to the gut real time. Your brain is distracted watching content.
True.
Your gut needs the brain's undivided attention to decide, to debate, to communicate with each other and determine how much stomach acids to produce, how much bile to produce, when to push the food from the stomach to the intestines. Those decisions are taken in a collaboration between the gut and the brain. If the brain is in absentee mode, because it's focused on distractions outside, then the gut is not going to be able to digest the food adequately well. You could do it once, twice, when it becomes a habit, the cumulative negative effect is detrimental to your health.
Absolutely. So if someone is having an autoimmune disorder, skin disorder, what kind of treatment do they recommend in Ayurveda?
See, Ayurveda, the rule number 1 is detoxification of the body, thinning of the body, getting rid of all toxins, okay? So you can go for a Panchakarma treatment at any retreat or Ayurvedic center. If it's a day center, even better. They first prepare the body for the Panchakarma through Abhyangam, which is increasing blood circulation and lubricating the joints, muscles, and nerves, and liquefying the toxins, and bringing the toxins towards the gut. Then there is Shvedana, which is sweating of the body. So it can be done either through a steam bath or a potli massage, right? Once the body has been prepared for detoxification, we start the 5 ways of detoxification. So there is Nasyam, which is introducing medicine into the nose to flush out the sinus glands. There is Vaman, which is vomiting after introducing medicated milk or medicated ghee into the diet. There is Virechana, which is taking medicated ghee in an increased portion over the next 10 days, which goes all the way to the colon and pulls heavy metals out. We have Basti treatment, which is pulling out toxins from the colon through enema treatment. Then we have also this purgation through bloodletting, where they use leeches or sterilized needles to pull out the toxins accumulated under the skin, as is the case in psoriasis or eczema or rosacea, right? These are some simple ways of flushing out toxins in Ayurveda. Then, of course, there are other modalities of treatments, say like a podikili or an elekili, where they use, fresh herbs cooked in oil, to massage your body. Then there is Shirodhara, Takradhara,
Yes.
Kshiradhara. There is Uttran Basti. There is Karna Purana, introducing medicated oil into the ears. There is Shirobhasti, for children. Then there is Shiro Abhyangam, head massage, Pad Abhyangam, pressing all the points on the foot.
Yes.
Marma massage, pressing the 108 marma points in your body, which is a meeting point of joint muscles and tendons, right? Those points are where the toxins usually get accumulated. So these are some ways in which Ayurveda flushes toxins out of your system.
Yes.
Once the toxins are flushed out, then your body is in a position to absorb the medicines that you're digesting
Yeah.
and improve the Jataragni, the digestion, the metabolism, the immunity then improves,
Yes.
and your overall quality of life improves after that. So it's a cleanse that I would recommend to people to do at least once a year or once in 2 years.
True. Dimple, it's been such a joy having this conversation. And as we wrap this up, I would love to know from you if there's one piece of advice or a message you would like to give out to our audience.
I mean, the best thing I could tell you is self-love. Okay, try to take out time for yourself, especially the new mothers. I know it's an overwhelming experience when you bring a child into this world. You feel it's your responsibility. But don't forget to take care of your own self, because if you are not going to be in the best of your health, you'll not be in the best form for your own child. A healthy mom raises a healthy child in the society.
True.
So make sure you have dedicated time for your, self-care. It could be like a spa treatment you're going for, or a head massage you're getting done, or a body massage, or you're taking a nice long shower, going for a long walk with your friends. Ask for help. Don't hesitate to ask for help.
Yeah.
So that it reduces pressure on you.
True. These simple little things, they make a huge difference. So we're going to be moving on to our next segment. We call it Community Q&A. And today I have a lot of questions for you.
That's a good
so
sign.
First, I'll pick out the question we have chosen for today's segment. And then hopefully we will be able to look at a few more questions. So today's question is from Emma. She's asking, I often get mouth ulcers, especially during stress or after eating certain foods. What does Ayurveda say about this? Is it linked to your gut health or emotions? Are there any simple remedies for both adults and kids?
Okay, number one, it's because of constipation. Constipation causes ulcers, or it could be some nervous debility also, which can cause ulcers, right? So to clear this, you can take Gund Katira, heat some ghee, 1 to 2 teaspoons of ghee, add 1 teaspoon of Gund Katira, deep fry it.
Yeah.
When it melts, add a glass of water. When it dissolves, you stir it, strain it, and drink it. That's a great way of reducing the mouth ulcers and also reducing constipation symptoms. Both things are addressed in one go. You can also take a few pieces of Gund Katira in your mouth and keep sucking on it, chewing on it.
Yeah.
When you keep rolling it around your mouth, the sticky gum helps in repairing and healing the broken skin in your mouth. So that's another thing you can do. It is related to gut health.
Amazing.
And it can also be related to your nervous health. So you want to check with an Ayurvedic doctor. If the ulcers persist even after taking Gund Katira, then you need to seek the doctor.
So there are a few more questions which I have received, and I'll just pick out 3 questions. We'll keep it short and quick. It's summertime now. Skin health in terms of heat rashes and tan skin.
Heat rashes is a big problem. Use aloe vera gel. It'll cool your skin down. Use rose water as a spray. You can keep spraying it on your skin 4 to 5 times a day. Drink tender coconut water. Have carrot juice. It prevents suntan. And you can also use raw cow's milk or coconut milk to wipe your face and your skin. It removes the tan.
Amazing. The next question is, can I eat curd in afternoon if I'm having acidity issues?
Curd is actually heaty. It is not cooling in nature.
Is that so?
Yes, because remember, curd becomes fermented in the presence of heat.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we keep it overnight inside a warm environment or inside the microwave or something of that sort, where it's warm.
Yeah.
So the milk ferments into yogurt or curd overnight. When you consume this, your stomach also offers a warm environment because of the presence of Jataragni.
Yeah.
That causes the fermentation to aggravate and can aggravate your burning sensation, acidity, and reflux. So the best thing to do is take 2 to 3 teaspoons of the yogurt or curd, add a glass of water, churn it, add some jeera and pink salt. This helps in cooling down your body because the fermentation stops in the presence of water, which cancels the heat.
Okay.
The buttermilk will help in getting the good bacteria in, but at the same time, it cools your body down on the way down. You can also take sabja seeds, which is called takmaria seeds, which we put in our faluda. It's a sweet basil seeds.
Okay.
Take 1 teaspoon of the seeds, add it in a glass of water, let it swell up, and then drink this. This will take your acidity down.
Amazing. I always thought that yogurt is very cooling and it also has more amount of probiotics in it and bacteria.
It's actually heaty, so that's a misconception that people have. Don't have yogurt during the summer season.
Yeah.
If you have acidity, definitely stay away from it.
Okay, there's another one from Suma which says, will home remedies really affect hair growth and skin glow from inside?
Can. Number 1 is your DIY remedies, right? Your
Yeah.
do-it-yourself remedies. That will help you externally, improve the glow of your skin, and your hair growth stimulation will happen. But 80% of it is your internal diet.
Yes.
So you need to increase your intake of iron-rich foods. You also need to incorporate copper to be able to absorb the iron. You need also good fat to absorb the iron and to prevent constipation.
Okay.
So you have your spinach, kale, celery, cilantro, green leaves, moringa. All your leafy greens comes in that category. Iron-rich foods, broccoli and all of it, right? Then you need to also get copper in your diet. You get it from your nuts and seeds, also from copper glass. You can drink a water out of copper glass.
Yeah.
You can also get your magnesium intake high by having channa. Channa is one of the best sources of magnesium.
Okay.
Okay, sattu, it's a great source of magnesium. Even your pistachio, cashews, they have magnesium in it. These are great ways to improve your iron reserve. When your iron reserve goes up, your RBC goes up.
Yeah.
And then the extra iron reserve is then sent towards the hair follicles and skin. But if you're low on iron, the body uses all of it for RBC, the blood, and doesn't have anything left for the hair. Then the hair goes in a resting phase called as a telogen phase, where even if you touch it, the hair falls. Right? The hair follicles have become so weak because they have received no iron from the foods you've eaten.
Yeah.
So iron, and obviously making sure you have good fats in your diet, will improve your iron absorption. And most important deficiency that women usually have is vitamin D and B12.
True.
All women, okay?
Yeah.
Vitamin D is due to lack of sun exposure. Apply sesame oil on your body. Sesame is a great source of calcium. Apply this and sit in indirect sunlight. It'll improve your absorption of UVB rays, and your body converts that into vitamin D under the skin, right?
Yeah.
Through the photosynthesis process. Similar thing, but we have a different synthesis in our body. Our body produces vitamin D. You can also have mushrooms in your diet, good source of vitamin D. Then for your B12, nutritional yeast, your seaweed, nori, kelp, everything that you use in your sushi, that's also good source of B12. Parboiled Kerala rice, that's also good source of B12, because it has good microbes in it.
Yeah.
And getting your magnesium up will help in improving your absorption of vitamin D and B12. So channa is an important ingredient, pumpkin seeds, orange juice, mosambi juice. You can also have seed cycling in your diet to improve your hormonal balance, like pumpkin and flax seeds during the first 14 days, sunflower and sesame seeds during the next 14 days. Even this will help in improving your gut health, your digestion, your absorption and assimilation of nutrients.
Amazing. Dimple, thank you so much for such detailed answers and such insightful answers. I think it's going to be very useful for our audience. Moving on to the fun segment. We call it fun because we keep it very short. It's like a fireside chat. And today's segment is called Gut Feeling with Dimple.
Okay, I like the word.
I'll throw some rapid fire questions your way and you have to answer instantly. No overthinking.
Okay.
It's trust your gut. One silent gut issue that's often misdiagnosed as a behavioral problem in kids.
Indigestion. You think the child is complaining of low appetite, but maybe the child is not digesting.
The most dangerous thing hiding in most baby skincare products. today.
Phthalates, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the most cruel ingredients in all skincare products.
Yeah. One food you would ban from every child's plate, no matter what the ads say.
Refined flour and refined sugar.
Which is so difficult. One dosha that modern parenting is totally ignoring, but desperately needs to balance.
The dosha, vata. Vata is the root cause of all diseases.
Yeah.
And if the vatas are of balance, the colon goes out of balance, the child is not eliminating waste effectively on a daily basis, then that leads to more health issues and weak immunity.
One thing Ayurveda taught you that changed your life forever.
That it's better to preserve your health
Yeah,
rather than waiting for the symptoms and diseases to appear.
absolutely. So true.
Yeah.
If your gut could talk, what would it say to the most moms today?
If the gut could talk, it would tell moms to take it easy and also keep your eating window small.
Yeah.
8 hours is enough to get in all the nutrients. Give your body, your gut 16-hour break. Your gut loves a holiday.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dimple. I am so happy that we had this chat. I had so many questions personally, and I'm just happy to have the answers today.
I'm so happy. Likewise, this was a great conversation and a great platform
Truly.
for new moms to learn new things.
You have such deep knowledge of this topic and this subject. Really, I'm just truly amazed to hear you
Thank
on
you
each
so
and every
much.
question.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, Dimple.